Joey Tucker, good to have you on the show.
Great to be here, mate. Great to be here.
I
Thank you
can't
very much.
I can't compete with that Mo, but yours is looking good.
Thank you, mate. I try. I just try. I just don't do anything to it and you let it go. You grow the mo.
How long have you been sporting the Mo for?
I don't know. Maybe 4 or 5 years. I don't know. Well, I don't know if it was a deliberate choice. It just kind of happened. I was doing the Movember thing, and I'm like, I can never grow a mo, and then every month I'd have to shave it off. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to grow one and prove to myself that I am a man. And then I just left it.
And then 5 years later, you're like, it's still looking good.
Still a man.
Beautiful. Hey, looking back, even in your childhood, what were you anticipating you'd do when you're older? Like, can you even recall any thinking around that?
When I was a kid, I don't know. No, I didn't really have any kind of I want to be a fireman or there was no like craziness. But I'm from a small town in the Blue Mountains. It's a suburb called Lawson, which is you just drive straight through it to get to Katoomba, to go see the Three Sisters. But I definitely wanted more than what I could get there, for sure. But I didn't really know where that space would be. I didn't know where it was going to end up, but I knew I wanted more out of life. I knew life could give you more if you went after it, if you allowed yourself to.
So, how would you describe where you are? Is it rural?
Well, not anymore. I mean, live in Cronulla now. Yeah, I wouldn't say rural because that kind of implies a farm, but in the Blue Mountains, there's just one road and then there's nothing but bush and then nothing but bush on either side of that road. So it's kind of rural, kind of remote, kind of but yeah, it was an amazing childhood, like absolutely unreal. We just had nature and we just went outside to play. You'd leave the house and then come back when it's dark, and just playing outside and in nature. I loved it. It was all what it was about.
So, you must have had a small head count, I'm assuming, at school.
Yeah, yeah. There was like 20 people per year. Yeah, per year. Yeah, that's probably your whole like our whole school probably fit into like 1 year where you were.
Yeah. It's kinda cool though, you'd get a lot of attention being in a, team of 20.
That's true. Yeah, that's very true. Yeah, yeah. It was good. It's well worthwhile. And then we went to Tasmania, and it's exactly the same story, but even smaller. Very very tiny. But it's yeah. You get attention. You get people are very nice. People are very cruisy, and relaxed. But that also isn't that great because they don't push you as hard. There's not as much pushing, in those type of environments. I don't feel.
Have you kept any relationships with people you went to school with?
Yeah, a couple of people. Yeah, kind of the core people that you one or two like you have a group of 10 people and then there's one that your bestie. So yeah, kind of keep in touch with those guys. But yeah, yeah.
Have they become entrepreneurs like you?
No. Not as much. No, no. They like their family life and have kids and do that fun stuff. But that's kind of what you have to do, I think, is seek external people to do that thing for you. Like it's books, podcasts. Like I'm always on the search for a mentor. I'm always on the search for who is the next person that I can look up to and how can I just kind of soak up their brain as much as possible. And that's the beauty of like when podcasting came out, it was unreal. You could literally just sit on a session with somebody and unpack their life's experience over 40 years. And then they tell you all the mistakes that they've made, and you just kind of try and avoid those mistakes. But yeah, that's actually how we kind of created the group as well, because I mean, I'm sure we'll chat about the group eventually, the Aus Property Investor Group, but we just didn't have anyone around us that loved property investing. Me and my friend Jeff Miles, and that's why we created it all.
Let's talk about the group, man. It's a fucking wild group.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's one of the largest now. I was looking; it's like top five property investment groups, in Australia. We've got 38,000 people in it, and it just literally grew. It just grew out of that. I mean, there's two sides to it. One, we started it because I wanted to speak with Chris Gray. I wanted to speak with Pete Wargent. I wanted to speak with all of the experts in property, but they're not going to, I'm going to want to speak to Benny Handler when he was running, Cohen Handler. But they're not going to sit down and talk to me and just have a cup of coffee. Now, knowing what I know now, they probably would. But I was like, how do I get how do I get Chris Gray to want to have a conversation with me? And me and my friend Jeff, we met, we started talking about property, and I'm like, why don't we just start putting it online? Just talk about everything that we've kind of learned along the journey, how we built our portfolios, what it looks like. And then why don't we invite those cool people? Because those cool people, they will they what do they want? They want exposure to an audience. And then what does the audience want? They want to listen to interesting people. So why don't we just be that meeting place? So yeah, we created the group about, I don't know, 3.5, 4 years ago, and we every single week we bring on experts that know their stuff. But the other way I was thinking about it when we started was, like from a business perspective, is talking about the cool kids, right? Chris Gray, Pete Wargent, we've had many other cool kids coming. But if you create the cool kid party, if you're having it, like going back to my school days, right? I was not the cool kid. But if I wanted to be a cool kid, I would create a party and invite all of the cool kids over. And then all of a sudden, you're in this room with all these cool kids and you are instantly a cool kid. So that is one thing about growing a community is people see you in the light of value. Like you're giving value, you're helping people. You are the cool kid now. So you start to mingle in that group, and you'll become that group.
And just for context for people listening, obviously this is a Facebook group.
Yep. Yep. Yeah.
Facebook group. And so you said 4 years ago you guys started it?
Yeah, around about then.
4 years
Three
ago.
and a half, 4 years, yeah.
So you and Jeff created this group, and did you guys have any intention around size, or was it literally just we want to get experts in and just deliver value?
Pretty much, yeah. There's no way if you said in 3 years, 4 years, you're going to have 38,000 people and be the largest Facebook group. No way, no way. It just exploded. Like it's just absolutely gone gangbusters. Didn't expect it whatsoever.
Why do you think, like, if you to specifically try and identify why you feel like it went gangbusters, and I guess for anyone else who may be looking to create a community, like, what is fucking important?
um, Consistently showing up no matter what. So like that people are living their lives and they don't really care. They don't really care about, you know, your kind of day-to-day life. So we do a podcast every single Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. and they can expect that. No matter what, it's going to be like clockwork. If you set up a process, if you set up like I'm going to do, 10 blogs a month or I'm going to do a newsletter every single week, you have to actually just show up consistently no matter what, and you can't break that. Because if that person then says, "Hey, my friend, hey, 10 friends, let's all get around, come over to my house, we'll watch a Aus Property podcast or whatever it is," and we don't show up, that's when they lose the faith, and then you get kicked out of their rotation and their schedule because you're not showing up. So the biggest value, if you are going to do it, set up a schedule and then just stick to it. Every single week I'm going to release a podcast. Every single month I'm going to write a big newsletter. Every single whatever, just keep the consistency flowing, and quality. It needs to be quality as well.
Let's peel it back. I think that's really good advice. Let's peel it back beneath the consistency and the quality, right? Like, it seems like you guys fucking care a lot. Like you care so much in terms of your intention as to why you wanted the community, and it seems like you've built this tribe around you that also care a lot. And so I feel like there's also like a deeper substance behind what you guys do.
100%. Like people, as I was saying to you before, people can see through BS. So if you don't care about this subject, do not go into it, because it's really, really hard to show up each week and talk about something that you're not passionate about. So you actually need to care about whatever you're presenting and talking to, but you need to care about the outcome and the output of what you're providing people. Like that's exactly why I started my business, was because I saw what was out there and what other people were providing, and I said I can do it better than that. I was providing my first purchase of a property was through a buyer's agent. The coolest dude. He spent hundreds and hundreds of $1,000s on marketing and media. But then as soon as I signed up to him, he sold me. And then I got palmed off to this other girl. They bought a terrible asset. I had to spend, $20,000 on a renovation. That $20,000 was not made up in the deal. I lost money on it, and I'm like, I can do it better. But yeah, you need to like you actually need to care about the person and their end result, because if you are a buyer's agent, you've got people's financial future in your hands. You are buying them an asset.
How did that story make you feel? I mean, that's pretty disappointing. I mean, you engage an expert, e.g., buyer's agent, to you know deliver you or deliver on your objectives, and then didn't meet that. Like,
Yeah.
were you like fucking pissed off at the end of it?
Yes and no. Yes, as in, if it didn't happen, I wouldn't be where I am today, right?
True.
I would have just, oh, cool, this is really great. I'll just use a buyer's agent, and then I'm not going to continue. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know where I would have ended up. But I think where a lot of people go wrong is that they blame other people for their own silly financial mistakes. Did I do the due diligence? Did I talk to clients of that person? I didn't see through the BS. And it's exactly why we kind of created this group, was so people can understand what are some of the key questions that you need to ask a buyer's agent to find out if they're, a shark, because it is a difficult industry to see what is fact and what is fiction. But yeah, was I upset? No. Well, yes, I was. Okay, I'm not going to lie. But what it was you need to realize, as an investor, as anybody, your financial future is in your hands, and you have to take responsibility for that. So when they presented me with a number of deals, with the deal, I should have said, "Hey, but what about this? But what about that? But what about this?" But I wasn't educated enough to ask those questions about them. And then I just said, "Hey, look, that's fine. You guys take the keys to my financial future. You start the car and drive." A buyer's agent is not there to drive the car for you. You're the driver, no matter what. It's your financial future. You need to be in the driver's seat. Your professionals, your buyer's agents are sitting in the front seat with you, kind of directing you where to go. You've got your mortgage broker, you've got your conveyancer, you've got your accountant, you've got the core team with you, but you are the driver. So, was I upset that I, lost money? Absolutely. But it made me realize how important it is to take responsibility for myself and my own actions and choices.
Big takeaways, man. I think just not being the victim, and also
Yeah.
like what
Victim.
you're
That's
sharing
it.
is like just taking full ownership, and what's the learning opportunity. Like, the struggle is the gift, and I think it's brilliant that you
Mm.
were able to look at it through that lens, because you're right. Like, at the end of the day, you engage that person. They didn't engage
Yeah.
you engaged them,
Yeah.
and you made that decision, and you got to own it. That's unreal. And so, was it at that point you decided, hey, I want to actually get into this sector and actually do a good job, or did that come later on?
No, I think it was not too later on. I signed up. I'm pretty sure I was like the first 10, 20 people of your course all those years ago.
Okay. Wow. Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, no, I signed up ages ago, and it was a part of me. And I see this all the time in like little things. I started a van business years ago because I saw what was like. I rented a car on Car Next Door, and it was a terrible experience. And I said, I can do this better. So then I bought a $3,000 van, and then in 6 months I made my $3,000. Then I bought another van with that van, and then I bought another van, and then I bought another van. I had a little van empire, only because I could do it better. So yeah, I started to go deep into property investing, and then I thought, you know what, I got my property license in 2019, but I didn't go down that path because I didn't feel I was ready. I wasn't ready to take that next step, to take someone else's house responsibility onto my shoulders, and it took me some learnings to get there. But yeah, we're definitely there now.
What were you doing prior? I mean, obviously with your career, maybe you can just walk me through like top high level. Like, where did your career start, and where did it end before you started your own buyer's agent business?
Um, so I've been doing sales my entire life. So I've been doing sales for 13, 14 years. So my first job was at school doing carpet laying, and it sucked. It was $100 a day is what I got paid, and it was the hardest work. And I said to myself, that is not how I'm going to make money. I'm going to make money with my brain, and a different way of making money. So yeah, I went into door to door sales, and actually taught me a lot about like the law of averages and how. So what we would do is we'd go around to 100 doors, and we'd have a piece of paper on a clipboard, and what you do is I collected all the pieces of paper, and then you'd start to see, hey, we went to 100 doors, 80 of them answered, 40 of them we had an introduction, 20, we did this. And then at the end of it, we had 2 sales. So that taught me a lot about like consistently showing up with a smiling face to the door, because you never know where those 2 sales are. They were somewhere in there, but you've got to find, like, if you don't show up in anything that you do. And that's what I love about call. Every time you get a call from Ben Hander, he's like, Joey, so good to hear you. How are you, mate? This is unreal. What's cracking on? And you show up to absolutely everything with energy, and that makes a difference. But anyway, sorry, I've digressed.
No,
Um,
mate, it's all good. So door-to-door sales, and then, I mean, you obviously you're a very good communicator. You are a smooth talker, but you've got a lot of integrity. Like, I don't know you very well, but we've had interactions. But I get the vibe, my intuition that you act with integrity. Hence why you did take your time to become a buyer's agent. You wanted to make the right decision. So where did you then move into? Like, did you move into a specific sector?
Yeah, I went into Fairfax Media, started at Fairfax Media and learned about digital sales there. I then went into websites and domains and things like that. And then from there, I joined a company called Verizon Connect. I was enterprise sales for Verizon Connect, which was previously called Fleetmatics. And that was really cool, because as you grow as a salesperson, you want to go, like, you see everyone else flying out there, going to Brisbane, going to WA and whining and dining all of these executives. And I did that. And I got to that point, I had this goal of, hey, I want to be doing that. And I got to that point, and it wasn't the life that I thought it was. It's just constantly on a plane, dealing with these people that you don't really want to talk with. And really all it's doing is just, making a share price go from 0.1 to 0.1101. So I realized that, yeah, although the money's really good, we're doing multi-million-dollar deals, it's not really where I wanted to go. So I moved on to a company called LawPath, which is now, which not not before I joined. Not saying that I made it happen. These guys were unreal already. But yeah, I was hired at a company called LawPath. I was their head of sales. I took it from zero sales staff. We took it from zero sales staff, and fast forward 3 years, it's now the largest legal tech startup. Largest legal tech business in Australia. They've got 60 staff, 300,000 customers, I think they've hit 500,000 customers that they've sorted out. But I realized that small to medium business is where they serve. It's really good to see a real difference that you make in your business. When you're helping somebody that these are small to medium enterprises, they don't have tens of thousands of dollars to throw at legal. So we're able to come in for $500, $600 and solve all of their legal problems. It feels good to kind of help people, businesses along their journey.
At what stage did you start to get an inclination that you were going to run your own business and get out of that employment world and deliver more impact or value?
Yeah, well, I've been doing years ago, and this is, I think what my key takeaway of doing this group is surround yourself with people that are on that next rung above you, that have already taken that next step. So if you're, this is a business podcast, right? You're trying to help entrepreneurs become entrepreneurs. They want to be on, what are they called? An entrepreneur. You want to take them from entrepreneur to entrepreneur. You need to surround yourself with people who are business owners that are doing this stuff, and then realize they are exactly like you. Yes, they work hard. You work hard. Like you can actually do it. You've got to just normalize success. So that's, I think, a big point for people is just normalize your success. Go to someone, see what they are, have a chat with them, have a coffee with them. Like, but actually, you do stupid things all the time. How are you so successful? How are you so great? Yeah, I think that's important.
That's an interesting point. So, would it be fair to say, because I haven't thought of this before, and you just raised something interesting? Is it fair to say that, like, people like you and me, like, I came from employment world as well. I was corporate.
Yeah,
I was hanging around all corporate people, like all employees, right? And my friends
yeah,
at the time. And it's probably fair to say that if you're just hanging around all employees, e.g., non-entrepreneurs, there's a high chance you're probably just going to stay in that environment, right?
yeah, yeah. It's because that's what's normalized. That is absolutely what you've normalized. Um, But how do you get out of there? Like, how did you get out of that? How did you start? How did you make the shift from, entrepreneur to entrepreneur?
I was very lucky that I was made redundant at Charter Hall.
Ah,
This was just GFC time, right? So this was like, I think early '09. So it just come off the back of the US. So I was let go. But during the time I was there, like I was working with super smart people and I
Mm.
learned a lot. Um, it was very early on I realized like, man, I'm not fucking staying in this employment world.
Yeah.
I saw senior guys who I thought were incredibly intelligent, added a lot of value. They just weren't being remunerated correctly.
Yeah.
And I looked at their age and what they've done, and I thought, man, like I just could not do that to myself.
Mm.
So, like what you just said earlier, like in order for me to get out, I needed. I mean, I did. I don't think I would have left unless I was made redundant
Mm.
because it's
Yeah.
very hard. I was hanging around all employees.
Yeah.
So I was made redundant, and then I just made a promise to myself, like I'm never going back to that shit. Just
Yeah.
not doing it to myself. And like what you said earlier, I wanted to create impact. I wanted to create value, and I wanted to do something with purpose.
Yeah. 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 It's hard to have that wake up call though. It's only a wake up call when it kind of smacks you in the face. So how do you kind of create that wake up call? The way that I kind of did it was through the community by growing a group of property investors and seeing some other buyers agents out there and seeing what they were providing and me saying, look, people come to me asking me to buy them property, but I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready yet. And then I'm like, actually, I am very ready. This deal here and this deal here and this deal here. I should have bought that. Like I'm on, I was on real estate scanning. I'm like, okay, I'm going to buy this at this. And then it goes for that. It goes for more. And I realized I can actually help a lot of people here and I can see what other people are buying and I can do a far better job. I think there's a lot you can do to add value to people that you don't realize.
Yeah, I respect what you're saying. You know, I was on the phone to someone recently from someone looking to join the institute,
Yeah.
and they were like talking me up, and I said, man, like thinking that you're just going to come into this group to learn from me is false. And
Mm.
it's kind of reinforcing what you're saying. Like there's a community of like-minded people. They're all super intelligent. They've all got very diverse backgrounds. They're all looking to do what you like. You're going to learn from them, and it's the
Mm.
osmosis of being in that environment. It's not just about me. I'm just like one cog in the wheel, and then it's the
Mm.
community as that drives it. And it's very similar to your group. I think the power of community is profound, and I feel like with whatever you're looking to do, you need to fully immerse yourself within a community that works for you.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And normalize it. Normalizing that success because all of a sudden you see someone post something that's like, wow, that's unreal. I never thought about property investing in that way. I never thought about this in that way. And you can just kind of pick it apart and say, I'm going to do this kind of strategy. I'm going to go down this route. But absolutely, without the people in our group, the group is not about us at all. People don't even in that group. People don't even know that I'm a buyer's agent. It's got no connection. That's one big thing. If we are talking about the success of our group, how did we make this group so big, is because it's not about me, it's not about Jeff. It is about making everyday property investors that are just starting out or already have a portfolio to get better deals, get better opportunities, and get better things out there. That you won't see an ad from Property Principles, you won't see anything about me, I won't mention my business name. It's adding value, add 10x value, and just keep adding 10x value. We've been doing it for 4 years, every single time. But yeah, you need to consistently show up and add the value, but not expect anything in return. But when you create something, people will be attracted to you and you'll get that back in return. You just have to blindly give, just blindly give, and then eventually it'll come back to you. You just need faith in believing that.
The good karma. I love that.
Good karma.
Good self-awareness. So let's actually now move on to your business because you don't promote your business in your group. It's not about your business. And as you said,
Yeah.
people don't even know you're a buyer's agent. When did you start your buyer's agent business?
So I started the business about 2 years ago. Yeah, just started it. It was actually because of another buyer's agent. I was having a chat with a buyer's agent, and he was like, hey, how's business going? After we did a show with him, and he's like, yeah, really good. I had 17 clients sign up, and I was like, oh, cool, for the year. And we're like halfway through the year. He's like, no, this month. And I'm like, okay, cool. I'm done. I'm a buyer's agent now. I've got the skills. I've got the thing. I now know that I'm going to be okay. If this guy can sign up 17 clients, I can sign up, that's like 17 times by whatever his fee is, $15,000. That's a lot. That's my salary in 1 month, a lot more than my salary in 1 month. So that's what kind of flipped me over the edge. It was that was that kind of moment, no, not sliding doors moment, but the smack in the face moment.
Yeah, it's interesting how like just a conversation and just, a sentence or two where someone can really quantify the opportunity, obviously not just financially, but just even the impact you can create to people's lives. Like, that's a lot of transactions, a lot of value. It sometimes just takes that to kind of slap you in the face to be like, hey, resign, get moving, let's go.
Yeah. Yeah, you can do it. You can absolutely you can absolutely do it if you're willing to put the hard yards in. It is much harder than you think. Well, when I left corporate, you have all this spare time and you work 9 to 6 and then you don't have to think about work, but when you run your own business, you have to think about that thing 24/7 because there's always something on there. So I don't know. I just don't think where people push, hey, business is the best thing ever. It's easy peasy, lemon squeezy. You only have to work 5 hours a week. You don't. You have to grind. You have to add value to people, and it takes energy and resources to add value to people's lives. And then you'll get it back in spades. But you got to put that energy out there.
I think running a business is really difficult. And I think you need to be super passionate about what you do. Because for me, I work 7 days and doesn't feel like work. I can't recall the last time I knew a public holiday was coming up in the last probably 10 years. I can't. So, you run into someone, oh, it's public holiday. I'm like, oh, like, wow, like it's coming
Oh,
up in 2 days.
oh
And,
wow.
and yeah, yeah. And literally, and that to me is like a bit of a litmus test that like, I'm not fucking looking for the public holiday because I'm so in the zone with what I'm doing that I'm not looking forward to that,
Yeah,
and that's just
yeah.
my experience and just an example. But I think going back to your point, yeah, like you have to work your ass off and you have to enjoy it.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. If there's no passion for property like in the buyer's agent space, whatever that thing is, like you're going to be doing it 24/7. Like you're going to be working your ass off, but if you don't care about it, don't do it. Don't do whatever that thing is. Care about the thing, and then that passion will shine through, and you'll beat everyone else as well. Because exactly like you're working 7 days a week. You would kick the crap out of anyone that's doing it for 4 or 5 hours, 4 or 5 days a week, who are trying to relax on the weekend, just because you're passionate and going for it.
Yeah. And going back to my comment earlier about when I said to you, I feel like you care a lot about your group is that's how I think you beat people with what you do. Not that it's um,
Yeah,
you maliciously want to beat someone, but
yeah, yeah,
the way you put people out of business or you compete at a higher level is you've got to care more. Because when you care more, you're going to work more. It's not going to feel like work, and you're going to be more authentic, and you're just going to outperform them. What do you think about that?
yeah. I agree. I think you have to add more value to people as well during the entire process, right? Like if we're talking about buyers agency space, the beginning needs to be good, the middle needs to be good, and the aftercare needs to be amazing as well. But at the end of the day, we're finding an investment grade property. You need to make sure that every single product, every single property that leaves the door is an absolute unreal asset, because I speak to people, to clients that have already done it, had used a buyer's agent. I'm like, oh, great, you've used a buyer's agent before. Why aren't you using them again? Because we got a dud asset, because we got a crappy property, because the rent, the yield wasn't there. The capital growth has been horrendous. So that's what stalls a business, because you're doing a long-term thing. We are running a business over the next, 20, 30, 40, 50 years. You need to be not just thinking of how do I get paid right now. It's how do I consistently add value to people and make sure that this purchase is the best, the absolute best of the best. And that's why they pay you. Like that's a lot of money. You need to give the value back.
Yeah, you need to deliver. That's interesting. So you've probably got a lot of crazy, successful, awesome stories regarding client purchases. What's one that comes to mind that like really sticks out around just an awesome purchase? And it could be it could relate to anything that's important for you. But I'm just curious to know something.
Um, Yeah, I've got a lot of jealous client purchases where I'm like, oh, I wish I bought that. You lucky thing. This is unreal. And I get I call them up and I'm like, oh, how's my deal doing? And so yeah, we bought a property in an area in Onkaparinga in South Australia. The area's average is median price is I don't know, 580 right now, and we purchased this property for 460 about 6 months ago, maybe 9 months ago now. So 430. It just got revalued at 550 for the client. It's a 1:2 subdivision site that's ready to go. But it's purely because we moved fast on the deal. The agent sent me an email. Hey, by the way, I'm sending this to market. Great, I'll buy it. I'm ready to go. I'm buying it now. What do you want for it? We'll pay you the price, because he told me the price first. And yeah, we ended up securing that one incredibly fast before the open home, before anything. So you need to move fast on a good deal when it's there, but you need to know what a good deal actually is. So this guy thought he was doing an amazing deal by selling it for 530, but I knew that it was at that 430. I knew it was at that 500 mark.
How does the client feel when, like, I mean, you're obviously doing a lot of investor purchases when they just manufacture this equity, they get a reval done and they're just like, fuck. Like, are they just blown away?
Well, I had a friend. He's not friend, client now, friend. But we bought him this property, and he's like, mate, I'm telling my friends about you, and I'm telling my friends about the deal, but they don't believe it. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, we bought this property. There was another deal around that 450 mark, and it is a 1:2 subdivision, so I can just split off the back, sell the land for $250,000 if I want. But we just got it revalued for 530. Like, they don't believe that you can create $80,000 in value in 6 months. And I don't know how you convince them. You just show them the numbers and it works. Is it that easy? And apparently not. Like, people have preconceived notions about property, but if you're doing it, if you're putting a part-time effort into something, you're going to get a part-time result. If you are doing this full-time, you will find amazing deals and amazing results, and the clients you'll help your clients unbelievably.
100%. Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. I mean, anything you inject part-time effort, you get a part-time output. Full-time effort, you should get the full-time output. But yeah, totally agree with that. That's interesting. So is your business now driven heavily through client referrals?
Yeah. A lot of it is client referrals. A few people come from the group. They're like, "Oh, hey Joe, I've seen you," and then it turns out you're a buyer's agent. I was like, "Yeah." We don't tell too many people. Our service is a little bit more niche, though. We don't go out there. We're not one of these large scale buyers agency that has 1,000 leads in and then 1,000 crappy properties out. It's a little bit more niche. We have a team of 4 people in our business, and we rely heavily on tech. That's one thing I learned from LawPath is technology, how efficient you can be. Our team is 4, but it's probably outputting at about 7 or 8 people, just purely because of the technology that we have within the business to find as many deals as possible. We, kind of scrape some data from places that we've got
legal.
Yeah, legal disclaimer, but we have ways of finding these deals incredibly quickly and then processing and going through them to ensure we get the best ones.
That's cool. That's great. I mean, it's good that you seems like you're creating a lot of efficiency within your human capital and obviously the tech you've got. Are a lot of your clients, after that first purchase, that first experience that they engage you for, then buying multiple properties through you?
Well, that's the beauty of doing good. Like that's what I love is this client that I was just speaking about. They got that $100,000 worth of equity. Joe, I've now got $100,000 of equity. What do I do with it? I'm like, well, we have a tech-enabled platform to chart out the best path for them to achieve their goals, and it's buy one property this year and buy one property next year, and then 3 years after that we'll buy another one, and whatever that chart may look like. And we just said, great, well, you can actually bring forward this purchase now that you have the resources to do it. So if you keep getting amazing deals for your clients, that helps your business because then they're coming back to me within 6 months saying, Joe, I want another one. Great, Joe, I want another one. Great, use that equity, push that into there, boom, boom, boom. We've now got a portfolio, that's over $2 million. Like this other client, $2.5 million portfolio. And then we have business owner clients. We've got a client that we just found a subdivision site for that has 15 properties. Like,
wow.
There's and where our kind of niche is value add. So can we buy a property that has subdivision potential, has renovation potential, has 3 bedroom, like turning a 2-bedroom into a 3-bedroom or a 3-bedroom into a 4-bedroom, you can get a lot of equity uplift. So yeah, my kind of makes my job a lot harder. It is not it's not easy, but we find amazing value add opportunities and then lift the equity, and then we just go again. You just keep going again until you hit what your target is, and then you can get your goals.
What's that average time frame across the board for you guys that you're typically manufacturing that equity in?
Um,
Approx.
Yeah, it depends because it depends on what they want. We also kind of call it like frozen equity. So what happens is they buy the property that has the opportunity for a 4-bed, but they don't need to do that right now because they've got the cash to purchase another one that has the opportunity for a 4-bed. So what people are doing is they're buying a portfolio of subdivision potentials, renovation potentials, 4-bedroom adding potentials. And it's only when they start to get tapped out with their borrowing capacity they say, the banks aren't lending me any more money. How can I make this better?
Mm.
Well, you're still making money. You still got, $100,000 here in cash that you've saved. Let's turn around on our portfolio, do that $20,000 renovation to grow the equity on that one, and then do the renovation on that one, then do the subdivision on that one. All of a sudden, they've grown their cash, they've grown their equity, and they've grown their cash flow to allow them to borrow more money to buy that next property. So it all depends. But 6 to 12 months is where I'm seeing clients come back after that. It's hard when you've just sold this property for 450 and then, or 550, and then the bank sees, well, the most recent sale is that property at 550. So they can't value it as high. You have to wait for a little bit till it goes more.
Joey Tucker, I've enjoyed this conversation. Where can people find you, like your company? I know we're going to talk about the group quickly where people can find that, but the name of your company?
Is Property Principles.
Property Principles.
Principles.
And the Facebook group is called?
Aus Property Investors Group.
I love it.
Aus Property Investors, yeah, that's it.
They'll find it.
Aus Property Investors Group. You'll find it. Just go onto Facebook, type in Aus, AUS, Property, and then we'll be the yellow one that you'll see.
There's only 6 million people in there, so that's all right. Joey, good to chat, and all the best this year.
Thank you very much, Benny.
Cheers.
Always a pleasure.
Thank you.
Bye, mate.